Hello, it is Foon from hustlecastle.site. We're almost at the end of a Rune event, and I've been meaning to make a video for the event, and we're running out of time, so I'm going to do this like no-cut Friday night style. So Rune events are one of the event styles the game rotates. We get one every 4 months, which to me feels really frequent, but I know when you're really waiting for one, it can feel like a long time, and like people really anticipate these when they're missing their runes. Every rune event, we get an artifact, this thing here, some skins, and 3 new runes, are the ones up here on the top, as well as the possibility to get any old runes that maybe you've missed in the past. There's no other gear in rune events, that's the way it always is. So the fact that these come back every 4 months, if you want to skip an event, take a little break, rune events are the ones to skip. It takes a long time for other event gear to get to the dragon shop, but it's just 4 months to get a second chance at runes. And this advice is probably a bit late, but you don't need to buy the pass here. If you already did, I wouldn't feel bad about it. HC always makes purchases worth it. That's why this game is so dangerous and easy to overspend. But here I'll show you in the purchase screen, you don't get anything that you really need. You get some cards, you get like a couple things to make like the money worth it, but there's no new quests. There are no quests in Rune events, and you're not like unlocking half of the gear. There are some events where like you can get the armor just by grinding, but to get like the weapons, you need to actually have bought a pass. And like here, you can get the runes without buying. You just have to grind. Okay, so let's talk about drop order. Back to the thing here. Okay. The strategy is going to be different if you are just missing the new 3 versus if you need a whole bunch or even all of them. And now the runes, as you can see, are in 3 categories: confrontation, massacre, and fun. And the cards for each category drop in different game areas. So here, like confrontation, where's the little button there? This is what you're going to get mostly from arena. Massacre, this is a lot of, dungeon and dark cathedral. And fun is the tricky one. This stuff is really, really easy, but it's also really limited, assuming you're not going to spend money on diamonds. And so, yeah, that's where we are. Most people say fun is the hardest category because you can't grind it. I haven't really opened many at all, and I have like 75, but I still have some portal to do. So I'm kind of estimating, but I think the most fun collections you can probably get without spending money is going to be like under 100 or close to that without spending money. But yeah, it's still very doable without spending money to get all of them. And but yeah, the limit is like, if you're like a daily active player, you're going to hit that limit of like that 100 fun collections. You're not really going to be able to push beyond that because there's just, you can't do dailies more than once. You can't, do the portal any more than you can do it. So that's what that is. All right. So let's start on strategy for opening, because I know people talk about this a real lot, and there was always a lot of questions. We'll start if you are missing a whole bunch. If you're missing a whole bunch, then you're going to want to open a few of each category every day, but only a few fun ones, like 1 or 2 fun ones a day. And mostly you want to build up your number. Mine's pretty low. I haven't really opened anything, you can see. You want to build up this number here. Using mostly the confrontation and massacre, and then sprinkle in some funds in between so that you stretch them out. You keep opening them, but yeah, you stretch it out. And once you have all of the runes in one of the collections, like right now you can see I have all of the massacre runes. Then now any massacre collection, I can open that right away. I don't need to like save them because I'm done with massacre. I mean, okay. Take a breath. So yeah, if you're missing a whole bunch, or if this is like your first rune event or your first rune event at a new level, they're really fun because the runes will be dropping like crazy. However, if you're only missing 3, then these events can really feel like a very slow grind because you really have to get to a lot of collections to get all of the runes, regardless of whether you're missing a ton or whether you're just missing the 3. Okay, and the drop is if you're just missing the 3 new ones. Rune events always have a drop order, and they're always around the same range from when you can expect number 1, number 2, number 3, but the order changes. Like this time fun is last, some fun can be second or first. They change every time the order, but the range is always the same. The first will drop pretty early. This time around, that is the one I have, Massacre, which is the Archer rune, the one you get from doing dungeons. This always drops pretty early. You can expect it between like 40 and 80 collections, depending on your luck. Let's see. And then So for like strategy here, like I said, I'm going to open up all of my massacre collections now. One thing I said, well, I'll add a little credit to that. I don't want to open up like 100 massacre collections all in a row, because like, especially if I was missing a bunch of runes, I don't want to like blow past a range where a rune normally drops without opening like the correct collection. So I can open up all my massacre ones now without waiting, but I wouldn't open up more than like 20 massacre collections without opening up like one confrontation and one fun collection like in the middle. Okay, so that's the first rune. The second rune normally drops between like 150 to 120 collections, but this particular rune event, I haven't heard of anyone getting the second rune before 200 collections. So it looks like maybe the game developers like shifted the range higher, and now it actually like overlaps with the range for number 3. Like just a minute ago, saw a guy in my clan get like the 2 like within like four collections of each other. I've heard of some people getting fun before confrontation this time on Hustle Prime Discord. But yeah, confrontation is dropping after 200 from based on everyone I've seen so far, and it is causing a bit of stress. But don't worry, it seems like that is normal for everyone. Yeah, number 2 I think is the most frustrating because the range is so wide, and you can always like you feel like, oh, do I open up my fun to build up my number? Do I save them, and stuff like that. And for me, actually, I think it's the most frustrating when the fun rune drops second, because there's such a huge range of of when the second one can drop. All right, so I think that brings us to the third rune, which in this particular time, this rune event in July 2023 is going to be the fun rune that is going to drop last. And I'm sure that you've heard people say to save all your fun collections until the end. People say that even when fun doesn't drop last. But what I do, and I've kind of repeated this a couple times, but what I do is I open 1 to 2 of each category every day. Everyone, these soft caps for like minimums, like of how many collections you need before runes are going to drop, that's like pretty well understood. But I'm pretty sure that there's also like soft maximums. Like it's not just a minimum, it's a range. Because I once missed an early drop rune, and it didn't come back until really late, past 350 collections, which is a crazy grind. That frankly, like I do not play like that post-pandemic. So because of that one experience, I always, and I tell everyone who will listen, like, don't just save everything of anything. Always open like at least 1 or 2 of every category every day, just like to be safe, to be sure that like, you're not just preparing for minimums. I think it's a range, and you want to make sure that you don't blow past that range without opening anything in that category. Okay, so the last rune drops between 250 and 300 collections. Yeah, it's a grind. I've actually seen people getting it a little earlier than that. It's a big grind to get them all again. So like if you're missing lots of runes, that's what it's going to be to get all of them. Or if you're just missing those 3, you can be more or less lucky. Yeah. So like other than that 1 or 2 a day that I'm saying, like do save your fun collections until you're at like 220, and then open like a few fun collections, like still kind of spread them out. Keep stretching them. So like keep building up your number with the other 2 easier categories, confrontation and massacre, and then open one, a fun. Like why? Like what does that mean? Like what is that doing for you? So the reason we do that is basically, if you still don't have the fun rune by the end of the event, you're going to want to grind really hard to get it. But you won't be able to grind for any more fun cards, because like these things, like you can't do any more of that. So you want to save them and be cheap with opening. And that way you can, if you do want to grind really hard at the end, it kind of already is the end. But if you do want to do like a really hard push, you can grind the other ones and then keep spreading out, opening up the fun ones. Because if you're missing the fun rune, every time you open up a fun collection, you're rolling that dice, and your dice roll has better chances, like the higher, the higher this number is. So that's kind of that's why, if people keep telling you that and you're like, but why? What does it matter? Like that is why. So like if you do want to grind harder, you'll still have some chances to roll those dice after, at the end when you're grinding. Okay, so let me check what else I want to talk about. Okay, yeah, I think I can pretty much wrap up here, like opening strategy. Again, it generally takes like, you should expect 300 collections to get all the runes, regardless of how many you are missing. But hopefully like closer to 250. But yeah, really, yeah, I plan on 300 is a little safer. And once more, that drop order is archer, mage, and then tank. Drop order is archer, mage, and then tank. Okay, so the runes themselves, or actually, let's talk about the artifact. So I'm not sure how to say this name. Biwar98 Osman, maybe. He posted on Hustle Prime that some time tests and says that this triggers for the first time about 7 or 8 seconds in, and for the second time 18 to 20 seconds in, which is like pretty standard, like run-of-the-mill artifact, like nothing particularly exciting, but like not like bad, just like fine. Okay. Now, the Archer rune, it's the only one I have so far. I can tell I haven't really opened much, but I put this on my Ranger and I'm liking it there. There is some buzz about it for bosses in particular. I haven't really tested that, but yeah, I'm hearing a lot of really good things, that this is really strong against bosses. And I'm liking it just in general, but I haven't like tested it, compared it to anything. I also saw some conversation about it replacing Rune of Confusion on Dragonborn. I am skeptical about that. Like, Rune of Confusion on crossbow has been meta for a very long time, but people who I respect in the game are talking about that, so it's something to keep an eye on. Next is the Mage Rune. The Mage Rune looks really nice. I will probably use it on book for the time being. I'm hearing good things, and I also have room there, so win-win. Specifically, on a book, I don't have it to show you, but it triggers on enemy death, and Harley Quinn from Royal Ravens shared a video showing like it working, and it looks like it has no cooldown, and her the fighter wearing it was getting tons of damage, so like it looks really great. I'm excited mostly about the I think both of these look good. I think they're both, like, I'm excited for them. And now let's talk about the tank rune. Don't play the game with a bunch of tanks. Meta right now is 1 tank or even 0. If you have 2 or more tanks, like, replace them. Sorry, I know that's so hard to hear when you work on an ancient set and you're told, like, get rid of it, but like, yeah, replace them. At least in the TR11 world, I can't really speak to non-ancient squads, like, it's been too long for me, but like, still, don't fill your team with tanks. Like, get rid of your tanks for goodness sake. You need 1 tank, like 1 Dragonborn, probably 1 Ranger, especially now with Ascension. Ranger is really strong, but like, and the rest should be mages. So like, yeah, don't fill your squad with tanks. All right, so given that, there's only one place that I could maybe even use this. I only have 1 tank. It's my Blade King. And from what I've seen, like on Hustle Prime again, it doesn't look really great there. So this is almost certainly headed to storage for me. But that's great. Like, this is the one that's hard to get. This is the last final drop for Fun Collection. So like, that's perfect. Like, they made like the worst rune, the one that's really hard to get. So if you don't finish the event, like if you only get the first 2 out of 3, like, you're good. Like, don't worry about it. Like, yeah, maybe someday this will be good, but we get another rune event every 4 months. So like, you'll get it before this is good. Like, you're fine. And I think that's like a really nice note to wrap things up. Make sure to leave a comment with your game ID to enter my weekly diamond giveaway. That happens every week, even if I don't make a new video. You can leave a comment on any video, new or old. Just make sure you include your game ID. 5 winners get 250 diamonds, sponsored by the official Hustle Castle community. And subscribe if you want, if you would like. I have a lot of content planned, just waiting for me to find the time, including new set tests and new meta gear setups too. I've heard you all loud and clear that you want more videos like my Dragonborn one. All right, I will see you all in the next video or in the game. Sorry for talking so fast. I guess I'm a little anxious to finish this up. Yeah, ciao.